Hey there, Shalligators. Welcome back. Well, I'm sorry it took me like a day to get to this topic. I was like getting clip-in extensions and throwing my friend a birthday party. You know, just being basically a bad employee here at my job. But I wanted to do a follow-up video to the LARSA PIPPEN Montana YAO garbage fire that's raging on Instagram. Hopefully this is over, but we're going to break down some of what's going on and most importantly, what we can learn from it. Because we just did a video a few days ago about LARSA and Montana and Malik. They're in this like trashy love triangle over this, this fucking dude who's like, so whatever. But basically like how to get your man to come back to you, because the way Montana played it, at least publicly, and at least at the time, she's fucking blowing it right now, man, was to like use silence as the best weapon, and that will get a man to come crawling back. If you're like going through a heartbreak right now and you want your guy back, watch this video. I'm going to tell you step by step what to do, and most importantly, what not to do if you don't want to drive him into the arms of another woman. But today, we're going to talk about feuds. We're going to talk about what to do when someone clearly is cruising for a bruising. They want to fight, they want to feud, they want to get messy. How do you respond? How did these individual women respond that was both good and bad? Don't worry, we're not going to read every single word because it's just like the stuff of illiterate nightmares. They both sound so insane. And what to do and say to get the last word, or is it even important to get the last word? We're going to break it all down, but before we do, just want to remind you to shop my cozy quilt collection. I teamed up with mom-daughter duo James Lauren Beauty. Head on over there to shop my custom quilt. It's so nice. It's heavy like a weighted blanket. It's cozy like a duvet. Also, Shalligators, if you are in a giving mood, I would implore you to donate to my friend Thomas's GoFundMe. He's Cowboy's nanny, and he's just like a friend. I'm good friends with his girlfriend, and he's a wonderful, wonderful soul, and he's battling cancer. He's battling metastatic, am I saying that right? Melanoma? Yeah, melanoma, like a skin cancer, like a freckle that is trying to kill you. And he's just a wonderful person, and he's dealing with it on Medicaid, which is, it should never come down to, can I afford to save my own life? And we have the power to help. He's trying to raise a few $1,000s. $5 makes a huge difference. So click the link down there. And if you could spread the word, I'd be really grateful. Obviously, I'm donating as well. But I wanted to get all you guys involved because we're pack builders and we're lifesavers. And like truly, Thomas is one of the good ones. He's one of the good ones. If he was a fuckboy, I'd be like, I'll try. But no, you save a life of a fuckboy anyway, but he's just wonderful. So we can do this. We can do this. Okay. Speaking of saving lives and like people who are just circling the drain, what the hell? What is this? Okay. So yeah, in that video we did, I was like, Montana, it looks better because she's like hanging back. And then her response to Malik's like very goopy Instagram apology was like very controlled. And you know, it wasn't a, yay, I want him back, but it also wasn't a go fuck yourself. It was very like, we'll see, you know? And I'm like, that's right. You don't need, just because a man is sorry doesn't mean you need to be like, okay. But then she kind of shit the bed. She like, had she just let it alone, this would have been done. It's like a 24-hour news cycle. People forget about things. But she didn't. She went out there on Instagram and went from a very rational speech pattern. She sounded classy and poised and smart to sounding like the Cash Me Outside girl from Dr. Phil. Bad Baby. Ooh, I love her music, but is she an exemplar of maturity and rhetoric? Would we call her that? We would not. So Montana blasted LARSA as desperate and thirsty. You really need to be put in check or something because you really wilding out here thinking you about to tell either Malika or I how to act. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to read that. Like, because when you went, I gotta say this. If you're speaking in this, like, I call it like the Instagram ghetto, because it's like certain parts of Instagram like feel like you're just in this like war-torn ghetto. When you start speaking like that, you think you sound like so hard, so bad. You literally sound like you dropped out of 7th grade. Like you don't sound intelligent. You sound deranged and manic. And you don't win a battle by like foaming at the mouth. The person who cares the least in any negotiation, in any battle, wins. Think about it. Think about a business negotiation. Take the job or not, we really don't fucking care. There's 1,000 yous, there's only one SpaceX. They've got the power. A guy who's like, I don't care if you come over or not. He's got the power too. And when you're like all jazzed up like a rabid possum, These are two possums in a garbage dump fighting over a rotisserie chicken carcass. My trash. This is my trash. That's what these women sound like. This is my trash. So Montana just lost it. So now you got me hot and I'm not holding back no more. No more? Shut. I don't think that's cute. Don't say it's culture. Culture of what? The uneducated? I've been already told you. What? That can't be right. I've been already told you to shut your trap because you embarrassed yourself enough already. Both of you were wrong as hell, but you, ma'am, had the nerve to talk all that shit to me as if I was wrong? When did she talk shit to her? I honestly don't know. First of all, we as women won't claim you. You wouldn't know girl code if it slapped you in the face. You just old, desperate, thirsty ass. There should be a hyphen there. Thirsty ass ran through blow up doll. All those fillers and surgery can't fix that insecure soul. Go work on yourself, read a book. Oh, really, Montana? Are you lecturing someone on their literacy? Read a book, something to better your life while you still have the time. Okay, so that wasn't nice. So, LARSA, LARSA didn't let this go. She shared a response to her Instagram account, said she could spend the day going back and forth, but woman to woman, I would never do that, especially over a man. She was referring to something Montana said, like, you're the one who calls the paparazzi. You're the one who has to take all these pictures. Like, you need the clout so bad. And she was like, I hope to God I'm not doing this 23 years from now, because LARSA's 46 and Montana is whatever 46 minus 23 is. I almost failed math, okay? And then LARSA gave numerical points about why she isn't with Malik. She's like, he cried entirely too much and she called him cheap. And then she said to Montana, LARSA said this, if you ever find another man who wants you for you and not all the free press I'm giving both of you, lock him down. Malik was a clout chaser who pursued me relentlessly before I even knew you existed. And I have all the DMs, but then again, he knows that. Ugh. LARSA also made a really good point in hers. She closed it with hey, and you know what? You might want to think about the narrative you're imposing on your child that Malik just abandoned him and doesn't care about him and doesn't claim him. She's like, he's going to grow up and read that and you're the one putting that narrative out into the universe. And she's like, don't take this the wrong way, but that's probably not a great way to play it. But here's really where LARSA went wrong. The OnlyFans. The OnlyFans. Right after she said a very valid thing about, hey, Montana, don't introduce this narrative about your kid. It's going to embarrass them and damage them. She's like, and by the way, go to my OnlyFans where my children can view my own vagina. Speaking of trauma, speaking of fucking our kids up, would you like to see me naked? Oh, brother. What do you guys think of OnlyFans? You know what? Oh, we can do a whole video on it. We should, because I get a lot of questions. Do you think I should do one? Short answer, no. Shit lives forever on the internet. You don't know where life's going to take you. Do you really want your vagina out there floating around the ether? No. Honestly, LARSA doesn't really have a leg to stand on in this whole scandal. She was the one sleeping with a married man. On one hand, is it our responsibility? I want to know your thoughts on this. Is it our responsibility to do our due diligence about a man's entanglement with another woman? If he's with us and choosing us, do we care? Should we care about how dignified he's been to this other woman and how transparent he's being? The obvious answer to me is yes, in so much that it affects us. It's if we think we're so special and he'd never ghost me. No, he'd never just do that to me. He'd never lie to me. Yeah, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior, so he absolutely would. But I'm just kind of thinking of this in a girl code sense. It's because I hate it when women are you broke girl code. It's I don't fucking know you. Girl code applies to my friends, not every person with a vag walking around. I don't care. Just because we have the same body parts doesn't mean you're my sister. You're a person. And if you get between me and what I want, you are not a person. You are an obstacle. Okay? And I will remove you from my path. if you were a traffic cone or if you were a Montana YAO, or an Instagram model. So yeah, like with this whole girl code thing, like, do you think we have the responsibility to like check up on these things? I saw some meme one time, or like a quote. It's like, instead of asking a guy, are you single? You have to ask him, is there anyone who believes they are in a relationship with you? That's a much more pointed and accurate question. Like, not are you in a relationship? Do they believe they're in a relationship with you? So, okay, sorry, back to Larsa. So yeah, like she doesn't have a huge leg to stand on in terms of like being the bigger person, but like we were saying, like how much should she have been expected to check into the messiness of her boyfriend's past? Like, does she care? Also though, like, again, just for her own future, do you want to waste your time with someone who's like, oh, you're married, so glad I've been hanging out with you and being photographed with you and have sex with you and blah, 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 and like paying for things and mopping up your tears. Oh, cheap? Forget about it. It's like the cardinal sin in my life. Like, do not be cheap. It's disgusting. Especially when you're like a millionaire basketball player. Forget about it. But in terms of how this was handled online, I think Larsa comes out looking so much more dignified. Why does that matter? Dignified, Shallon. Well, we talked about this in the last video. That when you get dumped, when you get jilted, humiliated, whatever it might be, sometimes the only thing you have is your dignity. We're not living in a particularly dignified age, are we? We're living in an age where people send us photos of their butthole on Snapchat, right? So this concept of dignity, it's like, to hell with dignity. To hell with dignity. Okay. I want to just get it out. I want to say the truth. Okay. So you know what that makes you? It makes you an animal. An animal blindly follows their instinct. I want to drag my butt across the carpet. I want to hump this thing. I want to throw something up. I want to throw it from something else. Like you're just going to do whatever you want. That makes you a savage, and not in like the cool Rihanna way, in like a bad way. So dignity is, as we have said, increasingly rare, and therefore it's a pretty good weapon, and it's an excellent directive. And we also talked about this in the previous video, how like your dignity, a guy can take your heart, he can take your future, he can take your past. He can't take your dignity unless you are the one to hand that to him on the way out the door. And you hand it to him by acting, I think, the way Montana's acting online. Oh, you got me hot. I'm gonna come over here. Bah, 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 bah. It's like she's the kind of girl like is gonna tear out your weave in a fight. Who's gonna fight at all? Like Larsa might be a bit of a clown, but she is not going to like get in a like windmill arm swinging fist fight in the parking lot of a Waffle House. And I'm sorry, based on the way Montana's talking, kind of does seem like she's gonna do that. So Larsa said this, and I understand why Montana couldn't let it go. What I don't understand is why Larsa responded to this at all. That's what I don't get. Like, if she said nothing, Montana, you know what she would have done? And this is a great lesson in strategy. Montana would have kept going. If you're dealing with someone who wants to draw you into a fight, first of all, you have to ask yourself, what am I going to get out of this? Win what? Win what? A guy? Okay. No, thank you. I'd rather win like a bucket of beer at a bar I despise than some trick bitch cheater. What else are you going to win? Okay, well, ostensibly, it's like my reputation. I need to defend my reputation. I get that. I have had a lot of people try to bait me into fights. I'm not getting drawn into this. You're not a worthy adversary to me. You're a clown. And they become clowns when you don't respond, and they get so desperate for your attention that they escalate what they're saying to the point of buffoonery, right? This is a crucial lesson in what to do if people are baiting you. Just let them. A phrase I love, if you give someone enough rope, they'll hang themselves. This is true for fools, right? If you just let them talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, they're going to talk themselves into their own grave. Look at what Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are doing right now. People were like very much on her side and his side after that Oprah interview, and now he's just like on and on and on. We can do a whole video about this because I think something's like very wrong with him. I think we're watching like a psychotic break or something in real time, like saying, oh yeah, Meghan wanted to kill herself while she's pregnant. Fuck, dude. Talk about putting a narrative out there about your child that they're going to see. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And then to follow it up with not like, but she was so in love with Archie already and she couldn't wait to be a mom. No, that's not what he said. It was, but she didn't want to do that to me. She didn't want to just have another woman that left Harry's life. If I was Archie, I'd be like, oh, well, fuck me then. I was like irrelevant. She was going to take herself out. First of all, of course she wasn't. Of course she wasn't. Fuck her for even threatening that. She's too much of a narcissist. Narcissists don't kill themselves. They don't. Sorry. So where's I even going with this? Harry. Oh, this is the thing. Like, he's just talking and talking. The First Amendment's bonkers. I hate the word bonkers. I hate it. Oh my God, I got tingles. I got douche chills. I hate it. But he's like digging himself deeper and deeper and he's hurting his own image because he's just like, ba, 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 ba. Like, Harry, what do you even want at this point? Like, what's the point of all this? I digress. If Larsa had said nothing, Montana just would have been like, and another thing. Like, she just would have ended up looking like a clown. Larsa would have looked unbothered. And again, we said this in the previous video. You can be very bothered behind the scenes. You're a human being. Of course you're going to be bothered. It's about how you react publicly to protect your dignity. Once your reputation is gone, once there's a label applied to you, crazy, slutty, a fighter, volatile, you start to live that label, don't you? Well, of course I'm going to smash this glass over that stupid bitch's head. I'm the fighter chick. That's what people know me as. It gets into your brain and you start living that way. Oh, why shouldn't I sleep with the whole lacrosse team? Everyone thinks I'm a slut anyhow. We have to do better for ourselves. We have to be like, no, that's actually not my brand. Whether you're famous or not, that doesn't matter. I know who I am and that doesn't align. That's not what Shallon the brand would do. That's not what Caitlyn the brand would do. That's not what Hannah the brand does. We don't do that. That's for you. That's what crazy skanky Crystal, that's what crystals do. That's what crystals do. We don't do that over here. So it's a shame that Larsa even said anything back. And she said it in a controlled way, but again, she demonstrated exactly why we don't have something to say all the time. I mean, of course, sometimes you're like, I have to defend myself. I get it. But we have to pick our battles. That's the key word in that phrase. Pick your battles. Pick them. If you're like, no, this is the hill I want to die on. Fucking go. Okay. But you can't pick them all. Otherwise you just get eroded. And it's like, again, what am I even trying to go for? A good reputation? Well, you annihilated that because it shows you'll take any comers. Like, let's go. Everyone wants to line up to fight. I'm down. You look like a clown and a fighter. It's not great. Also, this gave Montana something to respond to. This was a bullet in her gun that she's now firing at Larsa. This is hard. We want to say something like we think it's going to be the last word. And if we're dealing with someone kind of volatile and unhinged, which increasingly Montana looks like, even though she's in the right, like she's the wife. The wife has every right to hate the fucking mistress and be like, you're a skank. For sure. You know? But it's like the battle of public opinion, you know? Ugh. I just wish it's like, can you guys just text each other? QDM, these don't need to be like out and about. So Montana was super not done. Also, can we talk about how I can't tell these women apart? Like, I love how Montana's like, oh, you're all the filler and surgery. Montana. Are we going to throw stones from our Juvederm house? Is that what we're going to do? Our house of hyaluronic acid and silicone? It's not how I'd play it. Okay, now Montana says this. I don't even know. I've been in my bag way before Malik and damn sure before you, LMAO. Ugh, LMAO, don't even get me started. It's funny hearing you say anything about clout or press because aren't you the girl that can't let go of her husband's last name because that's the only clout you got to live one? I never even took my husband's last name because I am and been Montana YAO. I built my life off my own name. Montana, you have 150,000 Instagram followers. Okay, like, Instagram doesn't pay anything. We did a whole video on what Instagram models actually are. Montana also says that you saw how he treated us and didn't want anything to do with him. Yet again, I state you tried to get pregnant by him. LOL, like actively tried to set up fertility appointments and wanted to get married. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, contradicting, but let's proceed. And Montana wasn't done. She delivered the final death blow by posting a photo of Larsa's like analog face and her like man-made face, you know, the face that she purchased. What can we learn from this? Well, you know I like war. You know I like strategy. If you're going to fight, fight. One of my friends, a beauty influencer named Cotton Tolly, she's fantastic. Go check her out. She's just the best. One time she said to me, because we were talking about, like feuds and whatever, and she's like, there's no such thing as fighting dirty. There's just fighting. Now she's from Texas and they know how to fight. And I was like, yeah, it's true though. There's no such thing as fighting dirty. There's just fighting. Why am I saying this? Because if you're going to fight, fight. Don't pussyfoot around. Don't try to be a peacemaker. If you want to fight, get after it. Body them. Here's how you do that. You strike once, you strike hard, you show no mercy, Cobra Kai, right? The Art of War, which I love, has a quote that I always go back to. If your aims be dark as night, fall like a thunderbolt. Basically, show no mercy. If you're going to attack someone, your attack has to be so overwhelming, they are afraid to ever attack you again. And you know who did that? Honestly, Montana did. She fought dirty. She posted the pictures of the side-by-side face. She talked about the pregnancy thing. I mean, she went there. And now if LARSA comes back with a response, which I don't think she will, because now she knows what Montana's capable of. Oh, Montana's going to be down there in the gutter fighting? Fuck, I don't really want to fight with this person. Maybe she has DMs. Maybe she has my nudes. Who knows? I mean, she's selling her nudes on OnlyFans, so I don't know why she care about that. Maybe it's worse. It's maybe she's got my unedited, non-face-tuned. Maybe she knows what I actually look like. That would be bad. So, no, Montana doesn't look great for doing that. She looks, kind of trashy and crazy. But if we want to ensure that an opponent is going to stop coming for us, that's what you have to do. Genghis Khan looked trashy and crazy. George Washington looked trashy and crazy. So did Napoleon. Every person who's won battles looks kind of insane. And you have to look a little insane for people to sort of stay away from you. They can't really know what you're going to do. Maybe she's going to say nothing. Maybe she's going to talk about my fertility treatments. Maybe she's going to post before and afters of my face and body. Maybe she's going to post my nudes. I don't know. Do you want to fight an opponent that you can't predict? That's a bad bet to take, right? We want to know as much as we can about our opponents. Montana's mistake, though, was not putting all of this at once. I think if she was going to do this, like I said, strike big, strike hard, strike fast, strike one time. Put it all out there and annihilate someone. And then when they respond, you say nothing. This is the key. This is the key shift. You put it all out there and then you are a ghost. You have not engaged further. And let me tell you how this is going to feel. It's going to feel like you're losing. I can't let her have the last word. Fuck the last word. Literally fuck the last word. I think the last word makes that person look stupid. I really do. I don't think the person who gets the last word looks good. I think they look like a little kid being like, come on, fight me. You guys want to fight me? And it's like, okay. I always talk about the Great Dane Chihuahua example. You see a Great Dane and Chihuahua encounter each other on the street. Who's barking at who? The Chihuahua. It's always the little one. Engage, engage. See me as an opponent. And the Great Dane's like, hello, goodbye. And it just moves on. The Chihuahua's still barking, but no one's looking at that little dog like, whoa, they showed that Great Dane. No. The Great Dane was like, okay, I've got bones to chew and butts to sniff. Goodbye. It's like that too. Let go of the idea that the last word wins. It doesn't, because you know what? It's not going to be the last word. Just like we said. Had LARSA done that, had Montana put it all out there and then LARSA said that thing, I bet you LARSA would have kept going. I bet she would have kept going. She would have, right? Because this is what people do when they want our attention. When they're desperate to correct people's idea of them, they're going to keep talking and talking and talking and talking, and they're actually going to dig themselves further. Well, Shallon, people have a right to want to correct people's opinion of them. Yeah, of course you have a right. Is it a great strategy? No. We said this in the last video. What was the Mark Twain quote? It's better to be thought of as a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. Silence really, again, it's your best weapon in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. Is it satisfying? No. So much strategy isn't satisfying. Is having a kale salad instead of buffalo wings satisfying? Fuck no. It's part of a larger strategy. Why do we not see that when it comes to interpersonal relationships and behaviors? We're doing ourselves such a disservice. Montana should have said nothing. Had she stopped with that apology, accepted, like I accept Malik's apology, whatever, she would have come out of this smelling like a rose. Larsa would have looked like a fucking clown. It would have done long-term damage to her reputation as like a man-eater, and like not even a man-eater, a man-stealer, a woman who gets humped and dumped. And man, what's a worse look than that? Honestly. Oh, guys want you until they get to know you. Montana would have looked like the solid, wonderful, like poised wife that it's like, you thought you could do better. Now you get to see, now you see the color of the grass on the other side and it is not green at all, my baby. But she didn't. She talked herself into oblivion. Larsa did the same thing, and they both possums in a dumpster. Possums in a dumpster. Don't know what else to call it. So to recap, 88-90% of the time, silence is exactly the move, because you're going to frustrate your opponent. They're going to become desperate, sloppy, say something stupid. And then even if they were completely in the right, even if, and you were so wrong, people are going to be like, they're getting desperate. It's like, Shallon's a bitch. Yeah, I know that. Shallon's mean. Also true. Shallon's stupid. Is she? She sounds pretty intelligent. No, she's so stupid and she's a child molester. Okay, what? If they had stopped with Shallon's a bitch and Shallon's mean, people would be like, oh yeah, right? But it's like people keep going and they sound ridiculous. They negate their own possible truth, like the kernels of logic and truth, the leg to stand on that they had. And now it's like, sweetie, oh, bless your heart. And meanwhile, the attacked person just sits there and it's like, okay, it's the hardest thing in the world. Non-reaction is the hardest thing in the world. It takes so much self-control. You got to play the long con. You have to play the long game in terms of your reputation and what you want. So when we talk about war and we talk about peace versus victory, sometimes like I do want victory. This is victory, but it's strategy victory. It's not animal instinct victory. I'm just going to stand there barking and do exactly what I feel and just get it out. Okay, but you're going to look like an animal. But if you are going to attack, do it big, do it bold, do it loud, and then never speak on it again. It's done. It's buried. And you might be like, well, maybe I didn't win. Maybe you didn't though. This is war. You don't always win, but you've expressed yourself. You've defended yourself. You've bodied them as hard as possible. And yeah, they probably will keep chirping, chirping, but your non-engagement is going to frustrate them so much. And think about what is crueler, truly, than to deny someone something that they want more than anything. And if it's your attention, if it's your engagement, wow, that's mean. Think about this in the micro. Like, we send like a long, like emo text message to someone and another thing. How hurtful would it be if they just like literally never replied? You spent an hour drafting it. You sent it to all your friends to co-author it. You send it and you're like waiting. Oh, they're going to say something. They're going to say something. They're going to say something. And they say nothing. And you're like, so do I just not matter? Exactly. It's amazing. And even though you got the last word, well, it was the last word because they'd already left the building. Yeah, it was the last word. There was no more audience. It was the word that went out into a void. It was the word unheard. The unheard word. And that's going to make that last word person look and feel real fucking dumb. The saying, imagine if they threw a war and nobody came. Well, yeah, imagine if you showed up to the battlefield and it's like, where the hell are the Germans? And just nobody was there. It's like, this is bloody ridiculous. That's not how engagement goes. So I want to know your thoughts on this, on Montana and Larsa. Like I said, Montana obviously is in the right. I mean, she's the jilted party, but I think the way she expressed herself was like so trashy. It just undercut her message. It undercut the validity of what she was saying. Had she just put this in like normal English, I think she just would have come out like better. I don't know. I still possums in a dumpster. We're going to be back with more videos, Shalligators. I will see you next time.